Hey there, genius! Soon we will dive into your box and the world of STEM in your Genius Box. But first, let me tell you a little bit about us. We are Pick and Hammer, a social geology club at the University of Oklahoma. My name is Bryn Cable, the president of Pick and Hammer. Each year, through Halliburton's generous support, we are able to bring STEM activities to students of all ages across Oklahoma, with emphasis on geology. This year, because we were unable to meet in person, we took a few new approaches to providing some fun activities to our kiddos. So, without further ado, my friends and I are going to get started, and we're going to dive into our very own Genius Box. Ta-da! Open your top secret envelope right now and we'll get started. Geology is the study of Earth, how it was made, and how it changes. This encompasses rocks and minerals, soils, mountains, bodies of water, earthquakes, and volcanoes. It is part of the broader field called Earth Science. There are three main types of rocks that we focus on in geology: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. And I'm going to show you through activity 1 with your red card, the rock cycle. In this activity, you're going to get out some scissors, ask a responsible person, or find your craft scissors, and you're going to cut out both of these hives. We're going to cut on the black lines, but we are not going to cut the dotted lines. Okay, so we've cut these out. Now we're going to cut all of our petals. Dun, 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 dun. But remember, do not cut the dotted line. Fold each petal inward on the dotted line. Do not cut the dotted line. Put glue dots in the center of the black and white explanation on top, lining up the center hexagons and the petals. Now, we have both of them facing up. We've cemented them together, or as we call it in sedimentary soft rocks, lithified. And now that we can see information behind each picture. So, voila! Fold and discover the rock cycle. Let's go through the rock cycle using these. These are little chocolate rocks. So right now, we could call these solid rocks, and through processes like weathering, they will become smaller pieces of themselves. Now we have some weathered rock. There's chemical weathering and physical weathering, and all these little pieces are becoming more and more. But then a lot of weight gets sprinkled on top, and they all mash together through a process called compaction. So now there is both white and black rock fragments in this one lithified rock. Let's say it gets really hot, it goes down into the center of the earth, all that heat melts it, then it would become magma, and when it exploded out, whoosh, then it becomes igneous rock. Igneous rocks typically have the big pretty crystals and the bright colors. And that is the rock cycle, chocolate style.
Hi guys, my name is John Smith and I am a junior petroleum engineering major. I'm the vice president of Pick and Hammer, and I'm here to walk you through activity 2 in your Genius Box. So we will get the instructions out of our top secret envelope, and you will be able to see that this thing is called the popcorn rock. So what you're going to need is your dolomite rock sample, your vinegar, your plastic container, and your magnifying glass. And as you can see, we've already got those out right here. We've got our magnifying glass, our plastic container holding everything else, our dolomite rock in the convenient little baggie, and then a bunch of little packets of vinegar. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to take your dolomite sample out of the bag and carefully place it in your plastic container. Okay. Now, you might want to take some notes over your sample to see what it looks like before you put any vinegar on it, just so you can really get the whole timeline on what happens when you put the vinegar on it. Next, you're going to open your vinegar packets, and we're going to pour enough vinegar over our dolomite sample, which is going to take a lot of these little packets. Now, if you see it fizzing a little bit, don't worry, that's the chemical reaction that we're actually banking on. That's what causes this little sucker to actually grow crystals. That is all the vinegar we have, and as you'll notice, it's not completely covered. There's still some of it that is open to the air, and that'll help everything evaporate off and actually create the crystal that we're looking for, which is known as an evaporite. Now, evaporites are water soluble, and minerals, sediments that result from the evaporation of salty water. In nature, that means like seawater, salty lakes. There's a few places in this world where you can put something in the water and the salt crystals will actually grow around in the shape of the object you put down. Now in this case, it's just vinegar, because not all salt is like what you're thinking with table salt. There's plenty of different chemical combinations that can be classified as salts. Now, if you want a neat story about this rock, there's one on this card. The rock in this activity is a magnesium-rich dolomite sample, as we've talked about, and it's an evaporative sedimentary rock made up of many different sediments and minerals. This dolomite is unique, though. When it's compared to other types of dolomite, this one can grow aragonite crystals when it's placed in vinegar. This was discovered in 1981 by a geology student at the University of Utah named Richard Barnes. And he actually discovered it working with fossils of horn coral, which are usually preserved in limestone. So when it's mixed with vinegar, limestone usually just dissolves and allows the fossils to be pulled out and studied without really damaging the fossil at all. The interesting thing about this dolomite is that instead of dissolving, it actually produced white crystals that resembled kernels of popcorn, which is why your activity is called popcorn rock. Now, in the upcoming days, you should check this every day. Take pictures if you want, and any observations you come up with, you need to record it in your challenge card. And after about 2 weeks of recording things on your challenge card, we should have some beautiful white aragonite crystals.
Hello, I'm Tucker McCoy. I'm the lead outreach coordinator for P&H, and today we're going to be working on the growing your own mineral experiment. First, you're going to want to lay out all your different materials that you're going to need. So you're going to need your borax and your plastic cup and your pipe cleaners, popsicle sticks, and ribbons. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your pipe cleaner and form it into whatever shape you want your crystals to grow in. You can have like this. Then you tie it onto the popsicle stick with a ribbon. So you get it to look like this. And it should hang from the popsicle stick into the cup without touching the sides or the bottom of the cup. This way when your crystals grow, they'll grow all nice and not get all globbed up onto the side. So after you get that set up, you're going to take your warm water and you're going to pour it to fill up the cup, completely covering the pipe cleaner, but not overfilling the cup to where it pours everywhere. Now that we have those set up, you're going to take your spoon and scoop out two full scoops of the borax and pour it in there. It might be helpful to get an adult for this, it's kind of messy. After that, you can stir it up a little bit to make sure it gets mixed up and dissolved. If your pipe cleaner in, just put it back. After you get it stirred up and it all dissolves, you let it set. And as the water dissolves, the borax will crystallize onto your pipe cleaner. And after a day or two, you should have a full set of crystals grown onto your pipe cleaner.
I'm Casey and I wanted to be here with you for our last project. For this activity, you need the geode, magnifying glass, and a sock out of your box. And you also are going to need a responsible person with a hammer. Hey Tucker, can you find a hammer? So the first thing you're going to do is look at your geode with your magnifying glass and identify properties. It's got a crusty outside, it's got silicious bumps, all kinds of stuff. And you can even see crystals sometimes. Now, you're going to put your geode in the sock and take it outside for you and your adult to crack on a hard surface like your driveway. It might take a few tries. They're really hard. But here you go. So Tucker's going to take that outside. So here we go. Now we have our geode pieces. You want to look at it with your magnifying glass again and see all the nice crystals inside. Here I have a larger one you can take a look at that might be a little easier to see. So here's the outside. And this is what they can look like sometimes. And that's it. That was our last project together in the Genius Box. If you want more quick facts, read the bottom of the Mission Materials green card for more geologic words. Thank you so much for being a Pick and Hammer Outreach Kid. Bye!